I would like to begin by acknowledging the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation, who are the original custodians of the land on which I'm streaming from. I would like to extend that acknowledgement to any Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islanders who may be watching today. And I would like to extend that acknowledgement to the elders past, present, and emerging. Sovereignty was never ceded, it always was, and always will be Aboriginal land. My name is Miss Cairo. My pronouns are she, her. I am a light brown skinned woman with a brunette afro. I'm wearing some small circular specs, rimless, I think, yes. And I have some earphones in. I'm wearing a light denim dress, but you can just see the top half. There is a teapot in front of me and a cup and saucer, which is mint green and with a white stripe with a gold band around it. I'm sitting on a green chair with some pink roses. There is a curtain behind me, a beige curtain, and a fireplace which has got dark bricks, and our fern, which we've changed places. And there's a mirror as well. How are you this morning? Amazing. I am not going to sound exhausted because I say that every bloody week. I am tired today. There's a very big difference between being tired and being exhausted. I just haven't slept enough, and that's absolutely fine. I've had a really great week. Really exciting things. Things have been moving along at a nice rate for me. It's been exciting. I've really amped up my self-care this week. Not that like self-care is an indulgence, but I've indulged in those like luxury self-care moments, like having a bath with ice cream. Not a bath of ice cream, that would be amazing. But also, you know, having really good conversations with my partner about how, you know, how we operate as a couple, as a team, which has been really nice and affirming for our relationship. I've been able to hang out with friends, socially distancing in parks and going for walks and having really deep and meaningful conversations, which has been really lovely and healthy. What else have I been doing? Not much. Well, not much in everything. But yeah, feels nice. It feels nice to be chill for once. It's my birthday week this week. I'm going to be 29, so this is my last year of my 20s. So for the full disclosure, birthdays are really traumatic for me. Every year I really hate my birthday as much as I don't really kind of talk about it as much. I just end up closing off. And there's a lot of like anniversaries, birthdays, you know, that are around this time. And this year I kind of made a decision, instead of being triggered and just ignoring anything that's happening or cropping up, I'm facing everything kind of full on. So I'm really kind of wanting to delve deep into kind of my feelings. And one of the feelings I often get is the feeling of being disappointed. You know, I'm not going to go into the deep-seated reasons for that. But this year, it's sometimes it's those silly things like, oh, I've not got enough likes on Facebook. Oh, not that many people wished me happy birthday like they did last year. And I absolutely hate that I get like that, because I know how materialistic and petty it is. But also as well, I realize that it's not good for my mental health to be kind of living in this conditional world. And also as well, you know, I realize that that's a very real human emotion. Like, people like to be validated, people like to be loved. And although those things aren't a measure of that, you know, we live in a society that is based on those things. So this year I'm, you know, really assessing and looking at what I'm feeling with these things. You know, I've put out a birthday wish list, but I've also said to myself, if I don't get anything, that's absolutely fine. And I'm going to spend the day sitting in gratitude. And if I do feel disappointed, if I do feel upset, if I do feel sad, That's okay. I'm so scared of feeling those things and not allowing them to be that I end up burying them and then just never dealing with them. So I'm living in gratitude this week. I'm so grateful that I've had 29 years on this, or nearly 29 years on this planet so far. I feel like I've definitely spent most of those hours on this planet, you know, doing good things, not good things, but it being worthwhile. And I'm proud of the achievements I've made. I'm proud of the shifts that I've made in my life. So I'm excited to be walking into this is my closing year as well. My 29th year with a different perspective on life. I'm really excited for, the next 29 years of my life. Also just heard myself say 29, and that's really weird. I'm getting old. Yeah, so that's where I'm at this week. Feel great. Also, my birthday treat to myself this week is going to therapy and my chiropractor, and I might see if there's another form of therapy that I can go to, just so I can amp up on the self-love and the self-care. But yeah, that's where I'm at. It's all great. It's all wonderful. So I'm going to bring on our every week I say first guest. I only have one guest every week. I'm going to bring on my guest for today. So Dean Drieberg is I affectionately like to call him Dean Drieberg, is an in-demand creative with over 2 decades experience in theatre, advertising and events. In 2019, Dean co-directed Stephen Sondheim's Sunday in the Park with George, receiving 2 Green Room Award nominations. In 2001, Dean will co-direct Into the Woods with Sonya Suares for Watch This, and will direct a reimagined production for Dial M for Murder for Smoke and Mirrors Productions. Dean is a member of MEAA, Equity Diversity Committee, the People of Cabaret Council, and is an advocate for theatre that is inclusive of Black, Indigenous people and people of colour, and artists with a disability and LGBTQIA plus artists. So normally when I'm on stage and hosting, I get people to whoop and holler and cheer, but we are not on stages. We are sitting in our living rooms and our balconies. So let's whoop, holler and cheer as we bring in Dean Drieberg.
Good morning.
Good morning, beautiful. How are you?
I'm good. I'm feeling nice and cozy and relaxed on this beautiful sunny Sunday morning.
Well, I know that you've taken Rex for a little walk. How was that for you?
It was nice. It was nice. It's always nice to get outside and get some fresh air in the mornings. And Rex can be a handful because he's a very large, stubborn American bulldog. So that's
large and charged, chunky yet funky.
He is. He's beautiful. He's beautiful.
Oh. So how are you feeling today?
I'm feeling good today. It's been a really busy couple of weeks, as I'm sure you know why, some of the reasons. But yeah, it's been nice to just have a slower paced weekends and not cram it full of things. And I guess that's one of the good things. One of the good things about being in lockdown is normally you would have things planned back to back, like, brunch with friends and then a coffee with someone and then drinks with someone, dinner at someone's house. Like, you do tend to pack all the things in. So now we're forced to not do that. It gives us the opportunity to relax a little bit, because I'm the worst. I will say yes to everything and go and be out, like doing everything, seeing everyone, having the time of my life. So this is, the forced rest is a good thing for me.
I'm always surprised whenever I see, I know how much you're working constantly, but you just have this like complete ease, like nothing's affecting you. I'm like, how the hell do you do this? Like, I want whatever you're on. This is amazing.
I think I've just juggled multiple projects and things for, a couple of weeks ago, I celebrated my 10-year anniversary of having my own freelance production business.
I was going to bring that up.
But practice makes perfect. Like, I remember when I first started freelancing, and I would just say yes to everything because you want to make the money when that's your work. And so you have to work out how to prioritize and do things. And the worst thing is sometimes all of your priorities are at the same level. Like you have deadlines all at the same time and multiple clients that need things from you all at once. So you have to learn how to deal with that. And yeah, it does get stressful sometimes, and you have to just allow yourself to feel that rather than suppress it and then take it out somewhere else later. So yeah, you just have to like be stressed for a bit and get through it.
I think there's definitely something in lockdown at the moment that I'm loving the fact that people can switch off. I mean, apart from if you're on a phone call with me, you're going to be on it for an hour because I can't stop talking. But I like the ability that you can kind of monitor your engagement with people. I think we forget, like, pre-COVID, like you'd be going out, you'd be going to get your coffee, you'd be walking past people in the street, and you just don't realize how busy you are interacting. And it's just so nice to be able to be like, bye, thank you. and like kind of respect your own time, which I think, especially for someone like yourself and myself, like who is like, it's nice to be like, and this is my boundary.
Especially because, with what we do as creatives, we tend to spend part of our time behind a computer screen, but then most of it isn't. Most of the time we spend is working with other human beings, and it's that one-to-one contact. So I found that going from that to sitting in front of a screen for most of the day and most of the night, I tend to get really exhausted by staring at the screen. And it's just little things like, as you will know, sometimes I'll just be like, look, I'm going to do this Zoom chat, but I'm not going to turn my camera on, and I'll just like not look at my screen and just still be engaging and talking, just to disconnect from that staring at the screen. Because I've heard of people getting like some kind of Zoom eye thing where one of their eyes goes a bit funny because they're just staring at a screen for like hours and hours and hours. Like when you're not used to that, I mean, we don't work in office jobs where we sit behind computers all day. We're used to working in rooms with people. So when you go from no screens to like screens 24/7, of course, yeah, your eyes are going to go funny. So I'm trying to avoid Zoom eye by turning off my screen.
But it's crazy, like the adaptability of artists. Like, you're aware, like I'm working with spreadsheets all the time as an artist. Like that's a really weird concept for me, but it's actually, I really enjoy it. It's quite nice.
Yeah,
quite nice not having to interact with people for a change.
Yeah, I mean, look, that's the thing. Like, yeah, there's always positives to it, isn't there?
Tell me more about your production company. Like, I know we chat about it here and now, but like, I mean, this is also an opportunity for you to plug it too.
Yes. I mean, it's a thing that happened completely by circumstance. It was never planned. I was working as a producer for an agency for many years. Actually, the agency that kind of gave me my big break, and I kind of learned everything working with them. And during the global financial crisis 10 years ago, how funny these things happen every 10 years. The business wasn't able to keep me employed, and I was made redundant. And I think it was like there was 1 week where I sat at home like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? I've just lost my job. But at the same time, I think I had a day of like feeling sorry for myself. And then the next day I registered for my ABN and started contacting people that I'd worked with and just said, hey, look, I'm no longer working with that agency, but if you have other things, that you want me to work on, I can do it as a freelancer. And at the same time, I was applying for lots of jobs. But then I think within that week, one of my clients was like, actually, we've got a thing coming on. Can we hire you as a freelancer through that agency? And then things just picked up. So I was sort of thinking, I'm just going to do this temporarily until I can get another full-time job. But it just never happened because I just kept on working. And being a freelancer allowed me to explore other areas that I wanted to work in. So it allowed me to go back into theatre because I was primarily doing advertising. It allowed me to do more events and fashion shows and, just expand my horizons and do all the other things that I wanted to do. And so that's been great. So that's gone for 10 years. So through that, I produce advertising, photo shoots and commercials. I've done some music videos, short films, all of those kind of. Yeah, all of that. And then I've also done a lot of event work. So I've worked on Australian Fashion Week for 8 years. I've worked on New York Fashion Week. I've worked on Melbourne Fashion Festival, Melbourne Spring Fashion Week, like all of the major fashion events, as well as running events for clients, like Redken and L'Oreal and like all lots of different amazing clients. And
I can't believe you're not mentioning the blondes. I'm like,
the blondes, incredible. Got to work with them twice in the past 12 months, just over 12 months, which is incredible. And just such, when you meet those people that you idolize and you look up to and you think they're incredible, and it's always scary when you meet people that you respect because you don't know what they're going to be like, and especially in a highly stressful situation like, working on a major fashion show with these people. You think that they're going to be a bit stressed and maybe you're not getting the best picture of them, but then you meet some people like, the blondes like David and Philippe, and it's like, how are you so lovely and so kind? And when you meet people like that, you always think that you have to go to them first to introduce yourself. But I remember I came to a production meeting early and David was there first. He was there early to the meeting. That rarely happens with a lot of designers. And he went around and introduced himself to everyone that he didn't know. And I'm like, okay, that's really lovely. And it shows that, he feels like everyone's equals and we're all contributing. So yeah, it's always a dream when you get to work with those people, and it's even more of a dream when you find out that they're nice people. So yeah. So yes, I've done all of those things, and then I've done a lot of theatre work as well, a lot behind the scenes, all behind the scenes really for the past 10 or so years, working as a consultant for companies, working as an associate producer for a company that toured plays and musicals around the country and to regional and remote towns around Australia for 4 years, and then working as a company manager, a production manager, a stage manager, and directing theatre. So all of that's happened under the umbrella of my production company in the past 10 years.
It's really interesting because when I haven't been performing for like the last 3 years and made a decision to come back to it this year. I think I went to a seminar with creators of colour about producers, and I kind of stepped back and was like, I don't really know what a producer does. I mean, you've just kind of demonstrated that it's everything, but like in a nutshell, but because I think this is also something that people in the creative industry don't understand is these roles, because they're quite organized and structured. And when you are someone that hasn't necessarily grown up in these things, it's really quite difficult to navigate. So how would you describe your role as a producer in a nutshell?
Wow. I mean, you kind of said it. It's the person that does everything. No, I guess the producer is the person that does all the organizing and coordinating and planning. And it's also working with whoever your creatives are to facilitate their vision. So whatever they want, you have to make that happen, whether it's finding a particular location or finding a particular artist, talent, and making it all happen, but then also making it all happen on time and on budget, which is sometimes the trickiest part of it, is to, when people have amazing visions and dreams, but then you have a limitation of a budget and a timeline. I mean, time and money, if you had endless both, anything's achievable, really, isn't it?
We'd be ruining the world, babes.
Yeah. But that's part of the challenge is like, I've worked on things that have had very, minimal budgets, but, very highly creative goals. And you have to be very resourceful in order to try and make that happen. So yeah, it can be a really challenging job, but also incredibly rewarding when you're able to see that final product and know what you've contributed to that.
Well, because you also mentioned that you have directed as well. Do you have something up and coming maybe we need to talk about?
Maybe I do.
Something called The Bitter Earth? This Bitter Earth,
yes. I have not been so excited about a text. I can't even remember the last time I read something that literally had me gobsmacked. Like, I think I couldn't breathe properly when the play closed, when I did my first read of it. I was just shallow breath, like, what have I just read? What is this? So the incredible Brandon Pate from Antipodes Theatre Company had sent me an email saying, hey, we've got this script we want to do a reading of. I think you might be interested in this. Have a read. Let me know what you think. And I read the synopsis, and just from the synopsis, I was like, oh, I think I might like this.
Mhm.
But then I started reading the script, and it was just incredible. It's such a different approach to a piece of theatre, which I really like. I really always get interested in things that are just not the traditionally structured way of doing things, because it just gives you a lot more opportunity to be creative with it. But it's incredible play, which is about an interracial couple during the Black Lives Matter movement, the initial one, 3 or 4 years ago.
I think it was 5 years ago.
Yeah,
5 or 6 years.
I can't believe it's actually been that long. Yeah, you're right, actually. It's 2020 now. So, yeah, it's incredible to read this text at the current time, and it just feels so relevant. I mean, interracial couple during a Black Lives Matter movement. Sounds familiar. I don't know if you know anyone like that, Miss Cairo.
I don't know.
So, yeah, there might be some people out there that relate to this text as well. And the characters are just written so well. They are so real. They are so relatable. There's things in both characters that people will find in themselves. I certainly did. And it's written by Harrison David Rivers, who I am now obsessed with his writing. I've been on stalking his website and reading different synopsises from plays that he's written, and I can't wait to read more of his work and see more of his work, and hopefully direct more of his work in future. So it's an absolute blessing to be given this opportunity. It is a reading, so I don't get to be in full flight director mode and do amazing blocking, but I have snuck a few little moments in where I can to show my flavor. And I'm also really thrilled to be working with two incredible actors. Firstly, Lyndon Watts, who I've known for many years, and we've always had really incredible conversations, in particular about inclusion of people of colour in theatre. And Lyndon, who's grown up as a Black man in the music theatre industry, and he's been really fortunate, and he's done some incredible things in his career. In a short time, he's still a young man, by all means. And so we've always had these great conversations. So when I read this role, he was the first person that came into my head for that role, because I thought he's the right person for this in terms of his personality and definitely his skill set. But then I watched him in rehearsal the other night, and he absolutely took my breath away. And just, it's amazing when you want to work with someone, and then you do, and you find out that their limitless talent is just so incredible. The other actor I get to work with is Thomas Parrish, and Thomas and I have spent the past over a month having lots of conversations. We won't get too deeply into it, but Thomas was one of the 30 semi-finalists of the Rob Guest Endowment. So Thomas was incredible throughout that process, and him and I would speak every day almost throughout that process. And when I was reading this character, I thought, I kind of feel like some of these things that this character is saying is really suited to Tom. And so I had like an instinct to ask Tom if he'd be interested in doing this role, and he read the play and was as blown away as I was. He sent me some very emotional voicemail messages, and I was like, this is so great. He was loving it. And I was so right with that instinct. He's absolutely sensational in this role. I mean, if I was casting this on stage, I don't know if I'd find two better actors than Lyndon and Thomas to play these roles. So I can't wait for everyone to see what they do. And I mean, these are actors who are in separate locations on Zoom, and the way that they can connect to each other through the screen is really impressive. Like, it's incredible to see these actors who are showing quite an intense relationship in this play, and seeing how well they bounce off each other and connect with each other with, visual Zoom delays and everything. It's so incredibly impressive. So that's on tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Savings Standard Time. So 7 p.m. Melbourne and Sydney through Facebook. So jump on Antipodes Theatre Facebook page, and you'll be able to watch that live. I think it will be up for 24 hours. Why not watch it live in the moment? and see what happens. So I'm so excited to do that. Like this is the first thing I've directed since I got pulled out of rehearsals in March for Dial M for Murder. So that was like 6 months ago. So it's incredible to just jump back in the saddle and to direct again and prove that I still can do it after 6 months of not doing it. So yeah, I'm so excited about that.
Oh my God. I suppose as well, it would be really interesting. I mean, I haven't actually spoke to you about the show, and so I don't know much about it, but like interesting that it's about a couple, and it's over Zoom. Like, you know, there's obviously going to be things there about, you know, people who are in isolation separately. Like, I think that's quite cute that, you know, that you can explore this text through this medium, you know.
Absolutely. And I think there's something dramaturgically that it kind of works that they're in separate locations, because these characters have got very different beliefs that kind of come up against each other. Of course, you know, like any relationship, this is why it's so real. You're not always going to agree on everything and have the same opinions on everything. And it's, you know, what are the things that make you, or what are the things that can break your relationship? So having these actors in separate places and existing in their own belief systems, there's something about that kind of works with them physically being in different locations doing the play. Although in saying that, I would love to do the play in a live theatre with a real audience, with the two men in the same stage would be ideal also.
I miss being around two more men.
I miss being, you know, working with actors on the floor. I'm a very physical director. I tend to, you know, get on the floor a lot. I don't sort of bark orders from behind a desk a lot. I love being up on my feet, and that's how I like working. And, you know, text is so important, and I always like to, you know, blocking for me is as important as text. So that's been the hardest thing, is not being able to get up on my feet with these actors and work with them. I do have to bark from behind the desk, which is not normally my thing. So I really can't wait to get back to being in a room with humans, hopefully soon.
Well, I just also want to acknowledge the incredible work that you're doing, you know, not only with the EDC, I nearly said the EDL then, which is the English Defence League, which is not good.
The EDL.
Yeah, the EDC with MEAA, and also your work on the People of Cabaret. You know, obviously, so I'm the founding director of the People of Cabaret, which is an initiative to uplift, nurture, and support people of colour in the live performing arts industry, and Dean has been at the helm of this with me. But you've blown me away with your, you know, your grace and humility in the face of adversity. Like, you know, we both know firsthand how exhausting these conversations are, and not just on a like time and energy level, but just the fact that it affects us quite deeply. You know, I think when you're quite well spoken, or you know, you can talk on issues, people really take for granted actually that you're a real human being with real thoughts and feelings. And I just really want to acknowledge, like, I mean, I'm honoured to know you. I'm honoured to be working with you. And there's no one better. Well, actually, I mean, there's loads of us who are amazing, but there's also no one better who could do this job of really tackling diversity and inclusion in the industry in such a positive way, a really actionable way. And I think that's one of the most important things.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, that's what it's about, though. Like, it is very easy to sit back and to feel, you know, of course, everyone's, you know, this is an awful thing when people are being excluded from an industry, and not only being excluded, but, you know, villainized and weaponized. So yeah, it's very hurtful, and there's a lot of trauma there, and it is easy to sit back and complain about it, and, you know, to scream and yell and cry. But I'd have my moments of doing that too. But I also like to focus on the action and the forward motion in these things. So if there's a problem, I will complain about it, but I'll also give you solutions or work on, if I'm not happy about this, how can I fix this, or how can I make this better? And that's really important for me, is doing that. And because I feel like I am well equipped to maybe come up with solutions, then I will offer those solutions to try and uplift and to make other people feel comfortable and safe as well. Because I know a lot of times people are just, angry and confused and hurt, and they don't know how to get through it. So if I can help with offering some potential solutions, and if that will ease those people's minds, then I'm so thrilled to be able to do that. I've had a lot of lived experience with this. I've I was performing professionally from a very young age as a teenager, and I know what that feels like. And now that I'm on the other side as a creative, I still see it. And that's why, anything I do, I will always hold the door open for, people who are in marginalized communities for them to have access. And I'm still finding like I can open that door wider and have more people that come to the party. So, I'll do everything I can to hold that door open and to hold that space for people in everything I do. That is a commitment.
Mm-hmm. And I will forever hold the door open for you as well, because, someone needs to hold the door for someone else.
Like, can we just unscrew the door and just take it off?
Can we just have an automatic door? Like, it's just so much easier. Done.
Just not those spinning ones, though. I hate those spinning doors. Why are they a thing? I know it's to kind of stop a flow coming in, but I get stressed out in those things. I feel like it's going to hit me and I'm going to fall over and be, I don't know.
Mangled.
Anyone who's traveled with me and been in other countries where they have a lot of those spinning doors will know that I will refuse to go through them. I can only go in by myself. Oh my gosh. Vidya made a meme of me after we went to Chicago. Vidya made a meme of me being terrified of going through the revolving doors when we were in Chicago. Every building in Chicago has those revolving doors.
Yeah. I think it's good as well, because you were also the last person with Vidya to be in this house. So, just let everyone know. It's my friend, Dean.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you
when it was legal to be in the house.
This was like legal, yeah.
Pre-lockdown.
We don't do anything illegal apart from just being hot and sexy. I'm going to ask you one last question before we have our little private tete-a-tete in the little VIP lounge. So this is a bit of accountability challenge for you. What are you going to give yourself this week?
That's a good one. What am I going to give myself? Because I didn't give myself anything in the past 2 weeks. I think I might not work as much this week. I think I might just find some more time each day to step away from this room right here, and whether that be go out and do some walks outside or something. I think I've worked a lot of hours in the past couple of weeks. I don't have as much on this particular week, so I'm just going to give myself a bit more time.
Good. I like that.
And that's so valuable. It's really valuable to do that. Time is important.
Yeah. Well, I will be checking in with, I'm working with you all the time anyway, but I will be checking in with you at some point this week just to see that you are reminding yourself that you need to give yourself some time. But is there anything else that you want to plug before we move on?
Well, I don't think there's anything I can say, because all the other things that are very exciting coming up, watch this space, are under wraps and embargoed. So we're not allowed to announce things, but definitely watch the People of Cabaret, watch my Instagram. I think that my handle is just down there. So just keep watching, because there's things coming up and they're really exciting.
Yay! All right, madam. Well, thank you so much for coming on today. It's a pleasure and an honor as always. I love seeing your face, especially when it's so beautiful. Shut up. I'll see you on the flip side. Thank you, and I love you.
Mwah. Thanks, everyone.
Dean is absolutely beautiful inside and out, and I'm very honored to be working with him and being a friend. Friends are nice, friends are fun. So this week we haven't had anyone for #IGiveMyself, which is fine. We're all going through it. So just with this hashtag, this is you may have saw on my Instagram last night. I did a little bit of a boomerang, which I still haven't got my head around them. Where I was sitting in the bath with a Lush bath bomb and a what is it called? A cocktail glass of ice cream, because I wanted to indulge. But as I've said at the top of the show about kind of self-care, I think it's so important that we practice self-care, and it's not always these things like having a bath or whatever. It's sometimes having a conversation with people. It's sometimes, it's always about honoring and making a commitment to yourself. It seems so silly because I've been so busy lately. I haven't had time to do or think about the basics in my life. So I've got on my mirror, I've got a whiteboard marker, and I've wrote a weekly schedule out to remind myself to brush my teeth morning and night and take my hormones. And the reason for this is that it means that I tick things off as I go. So this is like a little bit of a self-care challenge for me. It's not an indulgent thing. It's not a luxury. Self-care shouldn't be a luxury. It is an accountability check for me to remind myself that I owe myself always at least the bare minimum to be a functioning adult. So I welcome any snapshots into your life of where you are organizing your life, getting your stuff together, looking after yourself. It doesn't have to be a bath. It doesn't have to be, any grand gesture. Just something simple and small that means that you're giving yourself something. And I love seeing it. It makes me feel happy, and I love seeing when people are being kind to themselves. It's so important, especially in this time. So that comes to the end of the show. We're a little bit over, but you're welcome. I want to thank Antipodes Theatre Company for facilitating this show and being a advocate for the industry and a massive support to myself personally and professionally. To Brandon Pape and Melissa, who do such a wonderful job, and they're a joy to work with. I want to thank Chloe Towan for all of the amazing graphics. I want to thank my partner for taking the photograph for the show. I want to thank my fabulous guest, Dean Drieberg, who is a dream. Please follow them on Instagram and all the socials. And I want to thank myself because I am amazing. Do you know what I mean? So I want you to repeat with me. I am amazing. I am loved. I am fantastic. Now, if you can't say any of those things today, that's absolutely fine, but try and find some time this week to connect with yourself and remind yourself how amazing, loved, and fantastic you are. Thank you so much for watching today. It's been an honor spending time with you on this Sunday, and I will see you next week at the same time. Have a lovely Sunday.